All right, welcome back, everyone. We're jumping right in today because we have a fascinating journey ahead of us. We are going to pull back the curtain on the invisible engine that is literally running our modern lives. Through this explainer, we're going to completely demystify cyberspace. We hear the word every single day, right? We live in it, we work in it, but how often do we actually stop to look at how it's built, or think about the totally unique laws of physics that govern it? Today, we're tearing all of that down. We're going to break down its hidden layers, its absolutely massive scale, and the complex reality that makes it both a total miracle of human engineering and, well, a pretty massive security challenge. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this because I want to shatter a baseline assumption right away. When I say cyberspace, I bet your mind probably jumps straight to the internet. And I mean, fair enough, the internet is a huge part of it. But cyberspace is actually much, much larger than just the public web we browse every day. We're talking about the entire global digital environment. So yes, that's the public internet, but it's also deeply private corporate networks, massive cloud computing platforms, closed financial systems, the mobile cellular networks beaming to your phone, and even the industrial control networks that manage our physical world, like power grids and water supplies. Cyberspace is the total sum of all these connected devices and the data flowing between them, whether they're public or completely hidden from our view.
But before we get too deep into the nuts and bolts, let's take just a brief moment for a little cultural history, because it's pretty cool. The term cyberspace, it wasn't actually coined by a computer scientist or the military. It was popularized by the brilliant science fiction writer William Gibson back in the early 1980s. But here's the crazy part. What started out as this gritty, futuristic concept in sci-fi novels spread like wildfire and quickly evolved into a very real, very critical operational domain. Governments, massive multinational businesses, your local hospital, universities, and all of us as individuals absolutely depend on this domain for basic everyday functions. It is completely real, and it is no longer fiction.
Now, to really wrap your head around cyberspace, you absolutely have to understand this one powerful concept. It is a socio-technical system. So, what does that actually mean? Well, it means you literally cannot separate the hardware and the software from the human beings using them. It's a package deal. Think about a classic phishing attack. Yes, the attacker is using technical stuff, email infrastructure, malicious servers, code, but why does the attack actually work? It succeeds because a human being, experiencing human emotions like fear or urgency, is persuaded to click a link. The technology and the human behavior are permanently tied together. I mean, you can have the most secure, state-of-the-art network design in the world, and it's practically useless if the people using it aren't following safe practices.
Section 1. 3 connected layers. The anatomy of cyberspace. Let's tear away the screen and see what's really underneath.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how cyberspace is constructed. It's built in 3 distinct stacking layers. Right at the very bottom, we have the physical layer. This is the stuff you can actually touch. We're talking submarine cables running across the ocean floor, your Wi-Fi router, massive humming data centers. So, if a construction crew accidentally cuts a fiber optic cable or someone literally steals a server, that's a physical security concern. Sitting directly on top of that is the logical or software layer. This is where the magic happens. Operating systems, network protocols, the apps on your phone. Here, the concerns shift to things like malware, software bugs, or weak code. And finally, at the very top, we have the cyber persona or social layer. This is us. It's user identities, roles, online communities, and the laws governing everything. The threats up here: identity theft, phishing, and insider threats. These 3 layers constantly interact to build the digital world as we know it.
Let's anchor this to reality for a second. Imagine a student just checking their bank balance on their phone. That's something we do every day, right? But in that one simple action, they are actually slicing straight through all 3 of these layers at the exact same time. Step 1, the physical layer. They're physically holding a phone that's blasting radio waves to a cell tower down the street. Step 2, the logical layer. The banking app itself is running complex code and using encryption to safely bounce data across the network. And step 3, the social layer. That student is using their specific, unique digital identity to log in, and the whole transaction is governed by the bank's policies and real-world financial laws. It's like a giant puzzle. One totally mundane action relies entirely on all 3 of these layers working together flawlessly.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Power and scale, the unique properties of cyberspace. If I had to pick just one word to describe the defining property, the law of physics of cyberspace, it's speed. Milliseconds. The global reach here is just breathtaking. A tiny device sitting in your pocket can communicate with a massive server farm on an entirely different continent in literally the blink of an eye. Physical distance, the thing that has held back human communication for thousands of years, it's practically erased.
Now, this instant global reach is incredible for international business and connecting with people, but on the flip side, it also means a totally invisible threat originating halfway across the globe can be knocking at your digital front door instantly. Beyond that blistering speed, this environment has a few other absolutely critical properties. First up, an incredibly low barrier to entry. For literally just a few bucks, anyone can publish content, spin up an app, and access the whole world, which is fantastic for innovation. But it's also a massive advantage for cybercriminals trying to push malware or spread misinformation. Next is deep interdependence. Think about it. Your favorite app isn't just a standalone island. It relies on a separate cloud provider, a third-party DNS service, a payment gateway. It's a huge chain. If just one of those underlying links fails, the whole thing cascades into a massive outage. And finally, scale and automation. Software doesn't sleep. It lets defenders automatically patch thousands of computers at once, sure, but it also allows attackers to automate millions of password guesses every single minute.
Section 3. The Defender's Dilemma. The asymmetry in cyber. This is where the real dramatic tension comes in.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how heavily it emphasizes the harsh reality of asymmetry in cyberspace. The playing field is just fundamentally tilted. Think about the attackers for a second. They only need to be right once. They just have to find one unpatched server, one forgotten weak password, or just one stressed employee willing to click on a bad link. But the defenders, wow, they have to be right 100% of the time. They're tasked with continuously protecting every single asset, every single user, and every process across the entire organization 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This brutal asymmetry is exactly what makes defending cyberspace such a relentless and demanding job.
Section 4. A borderless world. Jurisdictional issues. Let's look at what happens when digital architecture clashes with the physical map.
So the crucial point is that cyberspace actively resists physical borders. It literally doesn't care about them, and that creates intense jurisdictional complexity. Imagine a really common scenario. You have a user sitting in country C accessing an online service, but the actual raw data for that service is physically sitting on a server farm in country A, while the computation and processing of that data is happening in a cloud environment in country B. So if a cybercrime happens, or if there's a massive data privacy breach, whose laws actually apply? Is it country A, country B, or country C? This tangled web of overlapping locations makes regulation, compliance, and international law enforcement incredibly difficult. The technology scales globally without friction, but our legal systems are still rigidly glued to physical lines on a map.
And that leaves us with a massive, unresolved question to ponder today. In a digital world characterized by millisecond global reach, deep, cascading interdependence, and absolutely no clear physical borders, whose laws are really protecting you? It is a fascinating, complex puzzle that governments, tech giants, and legal experts are actively fighting to figure out every single day. I really hope this explainer has helped you see the invisible layers of cyberspace in a totally new light. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep questioning the world behind the screen.